Hello everyone and welcome to the Pocono doubleheader weekend here in the Crown Royal Truck Series. The third time we've been doing this. Here we are at Pocono. Matthew Eves puts the NRG number 48 on the pole. Alongside him is Daniel Cobbs in the 44 in second. These guys were 6/10 faster than Alex Peters and Logan Bradley, the Zachary Racing duo, in row number 2. Jose Perez and Antoine Smith fighting to stay in the chase. Hunt, they roll off in row number 3. Stephen Wallace Jr. trying to get himself back into the wild card race. He is in 7th. Eric Monaco, another points contender, 8th. Vince Freeze, another driver looking to get himself back up into the wild card hunt. He rolls off 9th, and Patrick Smith, who had a pretty good doubleheader weekend in the second half of last season's weekend, there in that number 94. As with the doubleheader, it's always an exciting event on the season. We have 2 of them in the Crown Royal Truck Series, that being at Pocono and Chicagoland. The rules for this are simple. These races are 40 laps for the Truck Series at Pocono. Both races are 40 laps, so you'll have 80 laps of truck racing this weekend in 2 races. The first race was decided by qualifying times. The second race starting lineup, however, inverts the entire lead lap field, meaning you could end up with maybe 15 on an invert like we had last year and many other times in the Truck Series doubleheader at Pocono. Or you could end up with 35 cars swipping around. And if you finish this race and you win this race, you could be starting as far back as 30th, even 40th, if somehow we have a miracle and all 40 trucks come to the end of this one. If you DNF, you get moved to the back because 1, you're probably going to a backup anyway. 2, it wouldn't be fair for some start and park team, say HBP was to enter this race, start and park, start on pole. So that's not allowed. It is all lead lap drivers in that invert. And we're going to have a good race ahead of us today. Let's take a look back a little further through this group of drivers here. You're looking a bit further back. There is Alex Fletcher, Riley Spurley-Tube, a couple guys who have been having great weeks so far in the previous races at Michigan and Nashville. Stephen Wallace Jr. and Alex Fletcher both upset with the fuel running out at Nashville, but they are back for this good run. Eli Bright is up to 12th in the standings after starting this season. The first 4 weeks of the NSDCA, with all the truck and cup races there were, he had no top 28 finishes. He finished 29th at Daytona in this race, in the Crown Royal Truck Series, that is. So Bright is on the move. He's been climbing through the points very rapidly in that 8 truck. Starts this race 15th, trying to get himself possibly into a race-winning scenario in that 8 truck. Brandon Morris back in the 89 in his hometown track. There is Ryan Butcher in the 17, last week's winner at Nashville. Continuing on back, Roger Ray in the 90, Gunnar Matheson in the 24 this week. Zach Rogers with a horrible qualifying run for TSR. This 9 team is going to be starting themselves from the back, trying to get themselves up. He's 20th in points right now, trying to just hang on to possibly get a wild card position. And one wild card driver that's dropping is Jesse Turner in the 47, losing a lot of time this season, has already fallen back to the 14th position after the last few weeks. Aiden Smith starting near the back, Logan Cloud in the 96 this week. There's Mike Cook. There's Nelson Reeves making Impala Racing second start with the 03 team, or second race, I should say, this season that they make. They made the 70 truck into the Crown Royal 300. He makes it in to the Hershey's and Reese's 300s here at Pocono. And 2 drivers failed post-qualifying inspection. William Duncan would have started this race 11th. He has a long way ahead of him in that 82 truck. And Christian Vargas, I think, would have started around just outside the top 30. So we're going to go ahead and get ready to go racing here at Pocono. It's going to be 40 laps this one, 40 laps for the doubleheader. Sure to be exciting. Eves and Cobbs will lead us down. Let's go down trackside for the commands to fire the engines at the Hershey's 300 at Pocono.
Drivers, start your engines!
With that, the engines are fired. Eves, Cobbs leading us down. 40 drivers, 40 laps, 2 races. That's 80 laps. Of course, you bring many trucks to these races. You got to bring a ton of trucks to these races because it's a doubleheader weekend. You're supposed to run with the same truck. That's the other thing, too. You could start on the lead lap, but if you are damaged enough, the team might decide to go to a backup truck. Instead, you'll have to go to the rear of the field on the backup, but you would start ahead of mostly everyone, probably that's a lap down or more, because most likely they'd have damage as well. Different thing about this, though, this is the first season with the wave around and free pass rules, so you could see a couple guys at the very back possibly get back on the lead lap and try their hand at making the invert work if they can do so. So this will be an exciting race. It's a big track. Truck Series has had a lot of varying tracks this season so far. You're looking at Kentucky, where Eves got his Truck Series win this year. You had the Super Speedway at Daytona, the 2-mile oval at Michigan. You already had a couple short track races at Nashville and South Boston. So we've had a lot of races this year, a lot of different things, and 6 different winners in the first 6 races is very exciting to see. Now we're taking a look. Now we're seeing, will we see that streak broken? Matthew Eves up front in this race. He has a win this year. So does Antoine Smith and Stephen Walls Jr., Vince Freeze. That's 4 winners in the top 10 starting positions. But you also got Kobza, Peters, Bradley, Perez, Monaco, and even Patrick Smith in the top 10, and a bunch more. Enough talking. We're ready to go racing. 40 drivers, 40 laps. We're racing at the Hershey's 300. Green flag is out at Pocono. Eves is going to get the jump into turn 1. Cobbs is struggling a little bit on that outside, but it looks like Eves might have overcooked it a little bit through the corner. Does not get a good exit. Alex Peters does. He's going to bring that 45 right along to the inside of Eves, and you're going to see 2 and 3 wide racing through here, but down into the tunnel turn. Turn number 2 with this tricky triangle is not a good place to be going 3 wide, especially with how it thins out on the exit and how hard it is to get around. And there you see Logan Bradley's going to get spun already in that 57. Everyone else trying to save it. Vince Freeze is into the grass. Eli Bright's trying to hang on as they're 5 wide heading through turn number 3. Freeze right back up into traffic. They are really saving it, and everyone, we're still green, but everyone just bounced off each other on this opening lap, and now Matthew Eves pulling away, that front group pulling away, and Logan Bradley sits last in that 57 immediately for Zachary Racing, and that is heartbreaking to see. It was looking for a good run today, and it's already going to go out on him. Surprising that did not cause a caution, but I think the 57 did get it cleaned up and straightened up real quick. He's back there in the 40th position now, just kind of hanging on, and he'll just have to hang on basically for a caution. He's not going to be able to tear up through the field that quickly with those scuffed tires there. There you see the tire treads there. Up front now, everyone's starting to get single file. You spread out. This is the earliest everyone's been spread out at Pocono, and I mean, you have a crash. Everyone was trying to hang on and slow up, but as we were saying, Vince Freeze, Eli Bright now are going to be ones way to the back. You also got Mikey Yamakaze in the 01 this week. He got into the wall there. I think another truck also got a piece of the wall when they were all coming back up. But out in front right now is Matthew Eves. Antoine Smith now going after the 44, Daniel Kobza, for that second position. And we are happy to see that Antoine's finally grown into himself, gotten a good seat here at SBR, a good long-term seat possibly for that 00 team, because I'm sure he got SBR's first win in a while in the Truck Series. This has to be big for the 00. I guess not in a while. Irving Allison and Alex Vigneco did win in the chase last year, but it's the first SBR win of the season with Antoine Smith, so that has to be pretty good. And now he's chasing down the boss man, Shade Eves. Shade, of course, driving for TSR this season, and now you got Antoine right on the back of him, so he has to be happy with what he's seeing from Antoine this year. 00 team wasn't really competitive to start the year out. They were pretty much mid-pack, but then he came out, won Michigan with a great battle with Spurley Tube coming to the end, and now he is right on the back, right in the tire tracks of the 48. And one thing I love to see is you come down Pocono, you see how everyone's single file, but as they enter turn 1, you kind of slide up to try to get a bit more of a group of grip back there, and you just see the whole train kind of shift up, stay in that draft. It's such a draft-heavy track in any series you come to. But you see the field is really getting spread out now. See Stephen Wallace Jr. now going to make a move on Daniel Cobbs. So that's for the 4th position. SWJ, if he can get a top 10 run here, I guess that's for the 5th position, but if he can get a top 10 run here, that has to be outstanding for CFRO and possibly give him a chance at pointing his way even into the chase. They have 2 of their trucks inside the top 15 in points. Stephen Wallace Jr. 13th, Peter Onjak 8th. Onjak right now sits on the cutoff. SWJ sits with one of the wild card positions, but with Antoine Smith 9th, right now he probably would point in. Onjak's a bit further back in the Southwest Airlines 97. He's in that second pack way at the back. 26th right now, as I see on the ticker. But this could be big. This could be a big year for CFRO in the Truck Series. God, their entire lineup is veterans. Patrick Smith might not be the best veteran there. Again, he's never won in the NSDCA. As you see him back here kind of holding up a bunch of the Dodges, Gatlin Downey and all that. But Patrick Smith, he hasn't been one of the best veterans, but he's been around since the beginning. Drove in the series back in season number 1 for his own team. Went to Orange Auto, retired, came back, and now he's running very well, especially in the Mountain Dew Custom Series, leading the point standings. Eric Monaco's really going to give him no room coming off of the corner with a big slide job there, and now he's in an Orange Auto sandwich. But Smith is going to be good this year. He's the lone man out right now in this CFRO camp. Trying to look to see where he is in standings. It's not been a pretty good year for him. He's 23rd in points in this number 94, so he's looking for a good top 10 run today. But we'll see what he can do. Is now you got Morris going 3 wide with Spurley, 2 Boston Johnson, just going back through the field, making sure everyone's still staying fairly clean. There's Zachary Racing's Logan Bradley's picked up a couple spots on the slower trucks at the back, as Antoine Smith is going to take the race lead away from Eves, just like the NSDCA, to miss out on all the battles for the race lead. So let's take a look up here as they go. Up front, starting to spread out, and this is going to be, hopefully we could see a pretty good and maybe even a clean first race of this doubleheader weekend. We already had the 57 go around, yeah, so it's not really clean. But this could be a good run for those guys to possibly have a good day, keep these trucks clean, and maybe we will see a full 40-car invert. Because what would it be for Mike Cook, Nelson Reeves, Logan Cloud to start in the first 3 positions with these trucks? That would make for a pretty entertaining first few laps, especially with some of these guys, the fastest guys on the track right now, starting dead last. So that'd be outstanding. One thing to point out, the 48 has swept a race weekend here before with Jay Jefferson in the 48 truck. I'm pretty sure it was last year when he drove it, of course, to his championship in that 48 truck. I'm pretty sure he's the one that did sweep this weekend, and I'm pretty sure Chicagoland last season was the first time the race winner did not sweep both races on the doubleheader weekend. So, will that streak continue on? Can Matthew Eves win both? Can Antoine Smith win both? Even Jose Perez, Alex Peters, Stephen Walls Jr., we'll see. But as you see, this field is nice and spread out. Hopefully these guys will give each other some room. Might be able to see some green flag pit stops here if this race does indeed progress to possibly through a green flag run. But Antoine Smith all over the back of Matthew Eves right now as they go. 8 of 40 complete here at the Hershey's 300. The first race of this Pocono doubleheader weekend. A lot of PA racing left ahead of us. Eves, Antoine Smith, Perez, Peters, and Stephen Wallace Jr., your top 5. We'll go ahead and take a quick commercial break. Bring guys back to the action here at the Hershey's 300 right after this. Back live here at the Hershey's 300. Lap 11 of 40, 10 laps complete. Matthew Eves has led every one of them but one. Antoine Smith led the other lap in this race. All 40 trucks still on the lead lap. All 40 trucks still running out here pretty much at full speed. Mike Cook a bit slow at the back, but I don't think there's anything wrong with the 81. He's just a bit slow there. Up front, the top 4 have pretty much stayed the top 4 single file and pulling away. Eves, Antoine Smith, Perez, and Alex Peters. Of course, the only one not up here is a GMC, the highest running GMC. We'll worry about that later as we got a battle for the race lead. Antoine Smith versus Matthew Eves. And here comes Antoine going back at it. Don't count out Alex Peters with a big run in that 45 right up to the back of the 00. Toyota, Ford, and Dodge fighting for the race lead. GMC not doing too hot right now as they're going to go 3 wide for this top spot. Alex Peters ain't afraid in the 45. Smith on the very middle there trying to give both drivers as much room as he can. And here we go down into turn 1. Alex Peters too far back, will not lunge it in. But that was real close coming down this front straightaway here. But we're looking, the highest running GMC right now is Austin Johnson, back in the 10th position as the rest of the manufacturers are fighting up in front. A couple Fords up here, and this has really been a rebirth year for the Ford teams. They don't have much in the Cup Series. Let's be real. It's Rockstar Energy Racing. That's pretty much it for full-time teams. You got Gemini that runs a handful of races, DW Motorsports, and there's one more team that I am forgetting. Zachary Racing runs part-time up there too. But RER has been doing pretty good in the Truck Series this season, all things considered. You got Priya McShane, who has had some great qualifying performances, not great race performances. She's 24th in points, or 25th in points. Not too high up, but you got Gatlin Downey 16th, fighting for this, fighting for a chance this season to possibly make the chase again in this 19 truck like he almost did before he was injured at Watkins Glen. But you also got the 24 truck is pretty good in owners points. They've had some great runs this year in the 24. Brad Stover took him to a top 10 at Daytona. You had Sebastian Kukulon, I think he was the one in Kentucky. I think he ran pretty well, and Matheson's been doing pretty well with the 24 truck. This race, though, not looking too hot. You see William Duncan, he's made his way up to 30th, so probably not going to be a great day for the 82, but he's picking up spots as much as he can. There's Gunnar Matheson right now, passing Roger Ray for what I think is 27th. Got a bit of a battle back here, but Gatlin Downey is basically RER's leader for Ford. You also got both Logan Bradley and Alex Peters in the top 20 in points. Peters 7th and Bradley 17th. It's going to drop him probably 20th or worse if he cannot recover from that early spin. But Gatlin Downey and RER has been doing pretty good this year. They've been silently getting top 10s, top 20s in that 19 truck. He has one top 10, so I guess just a single top 10, but he's been getting some top 15, top 20 finishes in that 19 truck. Average finish of 15th. It's not too bad right now for the 19 team. We'll see what he can do as this season progresses. Alex Peters has taken the second spot away from Antoine Smith as we go through the corner there. Matthew Eves out in front still. It's going to be hard to pass the 48. It always is at Pocono. A couple of years ago, we saw Austin Murray pretty much dominate that race, and we've also seen that at Pocono in the trucks a lot in the double headers. One of them will be pretty calm, one of them will be pretty chaotic. Usually it's the first one that's chaotic, which leaves us with a very small amount of actual drivers getting that invert. But right now, Logan Bradley split the field up, spread them out real nice, and we're having a pretty good race going on right now. But Austin Murray dominated these races 2 years ago. Jefferson dominated them last season. Now it looks like Matthew Eves is going to pick up the pieces and dominate them this season. So as we said, we have not had a repeat winner yet in the Truck Series. I think that might be done this weekend unless Alex Peters and Jose Perez can possibly get those 45 or 35 trucks up towards the front. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that's how it started last year too. I'm pretty sure Pocono with Jefferson was the first repeat winner of the season. So we could see something similar to last year. And if it is similar to last year, I think this driver right here, Matthew Eves, is going to love that, seeing the 48 truck out in front and possibly on his way to a championship later this year. He has the win, so he's pretty solidly in for the chase. And he's right now right behind Ryan Butcher in the standings. And I want to point out, let's go back to Butcher here in the 9th position. I don't know how, but he's leading the point standings this year. I really haven't thought of him as a fantastic leech driver. I haven't really thought of him as a points leader. And it's been so long since he's gotten to victory lane in that 17 truck. Well, he never got into the victory lane in that 17 truck. It's been a while since he has been in victory lane. He ran a couple of years with SBR, didn't do much in the 00, then got booted out for Antoine Smith. Smith goes out and wins this year, so I guess Butcher thought, hey, I'm not going to look like second fiddle to Antoine Smith. I'm going to go out there with my own team, take us back to victory lane, and that he did. I believe his last win in the Truck Series, or in general, was either Watkins Glen or Bristol in the Truck Series. I forget which one came later. I think it was Bristol, though. For that 17 truck. Riley Spurley back there for Sauber Racing Team. He was fastest in practice. There's Eli Bright in the 3M8, having a much better season than he has in the Cup Series. I think this truck, since it's pretty much the same truck as last season, he's hitting his marks where he needs to. Last season, he won at Nashville on some wild fuel strategy. Now, Watkins Glen is coming up. He ran pretty well there. You got Road America, actually, is the next race for the Truck Series. I think that's in a couple weeks' time after the Texas World Weekend. So we'll see what he can do there. But it's nice to see, honestly, Road America proved to be a very fun road course. We're going to go 3 wide up here. Butcher, Bright, boys, keep it clean. Monaco getting squeezed, just slides in with Spurley Tube and Morris letting them by. There goes Hagen and Rogers there. That was close between this pack. But as we were saying, it's nice to see up front they're not doing anything. We'll take a look at this again. But it is nice to see that Road America has multiple weekends this year. Not all of the road course races are in one weekend. We had a very fun Cup race there. They were clean. They ran pretty clean. They ran pretty nice. It was really a good show. So hopefully the trucks will put something up like that this week in a couple weeks as well. Bunch of Dodges fighting each other. Zach Rogers, Larry Hagan up there. Look at the 25 moving up. Started this race 21st. Started this race 20th. He's up into the 18th position. Or not 18th position. That's laps. That's number of laps in this race. He's up into the 14th position, it looks like. There's this train of drivers, stuttering over my words here, is trying to pull away from that second group. You got Eli Bright, Alex Fletcher, 2 drivers that have been on the come-up since a horrible start to the year for both of them. They're both fighting just outside the chase right now, fighting for a chase spot. So this is race number 7. The other Pocono race will be race number 8. So after this Pocono weekend, we only have 4 more truck weekends until the chase. Of course, you have 2 races at the Chicagoland weekend. And I know Road America and Watkins Glen, the first 2 road courses of the season, are there. So guys like Matt Sladek might be able to move their seasons up. He's 22nd in points is the 0 car. He might be able to pick up some spots as well. Top 4 have been single file so far. Not too much moving here, but it looks like Alex Peters is about to get a run on Eves. We're coming up to the halfway point, so if these guys do make it to lap 20, they should be able to make it to the end of this race on 1 pit window. And really, if the truck race was not a doubleheader, this would probably be a 50-lap race instead of a 40, but since we run 2 40-lap races, the laps are a little bit shorter just so we have that much, you know, still you can still have all that action. Mike Cook is real slow off the back. He's falling off real hard. Logan Bradley, those tires are cooked. He's still 35th. And there you see the first taker. That's Mikey Yamakaze in the 0-1, bringing it on down. There's a flat tire on Vince Freeze there in the 60. Maybe it's not a flat tire. Maybe it's just something wrong with the tire. He's still up to pace, but he's 24th, so that's big for Vince Freeze, who could have an issue here. I also just saw Peter Onjak making a move on Nicky Morris up there. There's Zach Rogers, Alex Fletcher, that big front pack. As Antoine Smith's now going to go for second on Alex Peters. We're going to go up to a bit of a wider angle shot here, just see if any of these race leaders are going to come on in this time. We're not going to see that, so it looks like it's still just Yamakaze down pit road right now, taking that early pit stop for the 01, which could really cost him, but I think since all of these guys can still make it that far on him, we should be good. And Freeze, he had a tire issue. He's not coming down pit road. He's still on the lead lap, so I don't know when that tire issue would have been, what the report is, but maybe it was a false report. As William Duncan now, he's caught up to the second group. He's starting to charge. There's Aiden Smith, his teammate, right behind him, who's about to take him 3 wide. But Duncan's starting a bit of a charge through the field. If he started 11th, he probably would have been doing better. But then again, he might have been in that Logan Bradley incident earlier, so maybe it was a blessing. But it's keeping the truck clean, just charging his way through the field as much as he can. But the SBR guys, it looks like all this year is just Antoine Smith in that 00 truck, as he's now dropped to 4th. And Matthew Eves has opened a bit of a lead out. But I think Antoine Smith, yeah, that 00 team is the king right now in the truck series for SBR. That's their main truck, and he's really proven it. Again, coming from Evernham in Mountain Dew Custom Series, got the truck ride last year, didn't do too much with it, had a pretty bad start to the season, but he's starting to climb back through in this 00 truck, running 4th. And let's talk about these other guys up here. Alex Peters, Jose Perez. Peters is a fan of the bigger tracks. He loves it in that 45 Ford. And Jose Perez, he has not won a race in years. He hasn't won since Las Vegas, passing Logan Cloud on the final lap of the race for GDI. And of course, last year with that injury, took him out for a good portion of the season. But he has been quietly great. He's been really great in the truck series the last 2 years. Would have made the chase last season. Who knows? He could have been fighting for the championship there. But he sits 5th in points right now. Average finish of 10.33, and it looks like Antoine Smith is going to be the first one down there, so he's going to come in a bit earlier, trying a bit of an undercut on the rest of the field, so we'll see if anyone else does come down with Antoine. But as we were saying, Jose Perez could still be a championship threat. Average finish of 10th in that 35 truck this season. You also got Eric Monaco, Peter Onjak, Matthew Brown, Aiden Smith bringing it on in. So yeah, this is going to be a 1 pit stop race. That's important for these guys to see for tomorrow's doubleheader to make sure that they can make that fuel last. So if we do see another great run here, a nice green flag run here, we could see, just another 1 pit stop race tomorrow. But now it looks like the top 3 coming on in. No point in taking anything but 4 tires. You may as well. It's going to be a run to the end. Monaco a bit slow coming off of pit road there. Now we're looking back. There is Matthew Eves bringing it on in, so we'll watch the 48 team go to work here as Alex Peters, Jose Perez do come in with them. And let's see if anyone does indeed stay out. Couple trucks are staying out. We'll see when they come by. That's the 01 truck, I'm pretty sure. They just came down. Logan Bradley is going to stay out. So Logan Bradley, it looks like those tires are really worn on him, but he does not care. We're going to take the ticker away so you can see everyone now who is down on pit road. And we'll see how long this pit road run lasts as they all go down. It's 4 tires and fuel. That's all you should do here. There you see Antoine Smith, top of your screen, coming on around. So that's what Matthew Eves is worrying about right now. He's going to come back out. Alex Peters, Jose Perez. It's going to be a busy pit road coming back out. And there's Antoine in the 00. He's going to pick up a spot on Perez and on Peters. We'll see if he can catch Eves. Will not be able to, at least for now, but he might have the run coming down the back straightaway. Staying out were Mike Cook, Nelson Reeves, Logan Cloud, Jay Jefferson, Maxwell Fay, and Logan Bradley actually already came in that truck. So now these two are going to be fighting for the race lead. Jefferson's going to try to pick up a lap lead. Fay versus Jefferson. Fay on the outside is going to take that, but Maxwell Fay's your new race leader in the 32. Mike Cook, so we got 4 trucks left out on track. There's Mike Cook in the 81. Antoine's all over the back of Eves, so Cook is going to bring it on down now. You got Cloud and Reeves out in front. So these guys, you know what the strategy they're going for. They're hoping someone goes spinning around right now. But Fay and Jay Jefferson out in front with Logan Cloud, Nelson Reeves right behind them. This is not anything for position. This is not for anything. This is pretty much trying to say we're gonna go on an alternate strategy. They're probably not gonna pick up spots off of this. If they do, it will be minimal. But they tried it. They tried staying out just 1 extra lap. So we're gonna have 15 to go. And now Fay, Jefferson are gonna come on in. Cloud is going to stay out with Reeves, so they're going to try to lead this lap, and Logan Cloud will now lead a lap here at Pocono. So he stays out an extra lap with Nelson Reeves. The thing with Reeves, I don't know if, does Impala even have a pit crew this weekend in that 03 truck. There's Mike Cook. He was 40th. He's been super slow in this race. I don't know what they're going to do in that truck. Now we're going to look a bit further back. Those guys are on pit road. There's your race leaders again, so they're fighting. Go back through pretty much the rest of this, and now they've spread out pretty far. Morris fell back a lot, so did Smith. Duncan might have picked up a few. But there's that, and Bradley at the back. So now it's just Logan Cloud, Nelson Reeves, the last 2 drivers that have to come down pit road. And they might not be this time by. So the 96 and 03, I don't think they're going to be. They definitely did not save enough fuel to make it 14 laps. That's 28 miles around this 2-mile triangle. But Cloud right now, they're staying out. So Cloud and Reeves are playing a big strategy here at the back. And maybe it's because the 96 is an R&D car. The 03, it's a Chevrolet. That already you can tell it's 3 years old. Maybe they just don't have the engine output to burn all this fuel. Maybe it's better to be a bit slower because you won't burn as much fuel. So those two are still out in front. There's Eves, Peters, Perez, and Smith. So these are the 4 guys that are going to be fighting for this win, barring no bigger surprise. And Perez now getting a big run coming off the corner. They're both going to clear Alex Peters, and now Jose Perez is going to bring that 35 right up to the back and looking for the spot on Eves. This is basically the battle for your race lead once the front 2 come down pit road, because they're going to have to. And that's going to be Perez clear into the lead. Clear into 3rd, but he will take the lead once those guys pit. So that is a big move by Perez to get in front of Eves. Now we'll have to see if Eves' truck works well in traffic. He got around Smith pretty quickly. I think those 2 were just fighting, though. I don't think Smith actually cleared him. There's Reeves and Cloud both on pit road. So we'll go out to the wider angle shot, and there you see Perez is going to pick up the race lead right there. So now we're down 13 laps to go here at Pocono for the first of the doubleheader races. You got 4 trucks out in front with Perez, Eves, Smith, and Peters up here. They're all good to make it to the end of the race. 12 laps to go. Next time by, we're going to take a very quick commercial break. Bring you guys right back to the action here at the Hershey's 300 for the conclusion of this event. The first race of the Pocono doubleheader weekend is going to come down to the wire here. 4 trucks under a blanket for the race win. We said it'd be quick. We're right back here at the Hershey's 300. Jose Perez now pacing the field as he's pulling just a little bit away from Matthew Eves sitting in second. Alex Peters third, Antoine Smith fourth. If Perez wins this race, Eves going very wide, almost into the wall, really pushing that 48 through the tunnel turn, and it's going to pick him up some time. But as we were saying, if Jose Perez or Alex Peters wins this race, that streak goes to 7 different winners in the first 7 races. And Perez and Peters, this top 5, well, not top 5, I don't know about Kobza, but for sure the top 4 would all be running in the top 8 in the chase right now. Eves entered this second, he'd be your points leader easily. Perez entered this 5th, Alex Peters 7th, Antoine Smith 9th, and Smith is holding on over Peter Onjak, who sits right now 12th. But Onjak was only 9 points ahead, so that's a pretty big margin between those guys. So Smith would be into the top 8 in the chase for that point standings. Daniel Kobza having a great day. Stephen Wallace Jr. back there. Coming off the corner, he just hit the wall, but Aiden Smith was all the way in the back earlier on. He's slow now, but he's up to the 13th position as the 97.46 go past him. What a drive we're seeing from Aiden Smith. The PetSmart 83 has really charged through the field. Zach Rogers also has moved up here. And there's William Duncan. We saw earlier, it said 25th. He's up to 19th in that 82. So even with those penalties, the 82's moving up. The 06 or 08's pretty much running where it usually does, about back of the mid-pack. And there's all the guys that are off the pace. Logan Bradley, heartbreaking to see that. But there's Reeves, Cloud, and Cook. I'd have to say they're all cooked in this race. They're not going to catch up. They might even fall a lap down. Cook might in the 81. He's really slow. Minimum speed does not count. If you're not in a crash damage, you can still meet minimum speed, or you don't have to meet minimum speed. You can still run. It depends on how often you're getting lapped. Plus, it's a big track, so they don't have to park him right now. He has no damage on the truck. It's just real slow. But if he falls a lap down to these race leaders, Eves is going to go right back to the inside and take the spot away from Perez. If he falls a lap down to these race leaders at I think this is a 2.5 mile triangle, actually. I think my math was wrong earlier. So that'd just be a sad day for LEI, who is, they announced they are merging with MJM next season, Mac Johnson Motorsports. So we'll see how that does. Also pointing out, Perez and Eves are now going at it for the race lead, while the 45 and 00 have fallen back a bit. So it might be down to Jose Perez now trying to take the fight to Matthew Eves, and Perez is doing it. He's fighting real hard for it. Looking back, there's Cobbs 5th, Stephen Wallace Jr. 6th, Johnson 7th, Downey 8th, Eli Bright 9th. Eli has 2 top 5s, 4 top 10s this season in the Truck Series, really coming back. Butcher 10th, Monaco 11th, Fletcher 12th, Onjak 13th, Aiden Smith 14th, Spurley Tube Hagen, Matthew Brown, Zach Rogers, William Duncan, Gunnar Matheson. Your top 20 as they run. Johnson looking for a move on SWJ, but now we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. Everyone has enough fuel to make it to the end. Put an asterisk by that. Green, white, checkered finish throws all of this out the window. We saw last season in the Cup Series, that first season of green, white, checkered racing, we had a very controversial finish with the majority of the field running out, coming to the white flag. They all had to dive down pit road, and there's a difference here, you know. Some people would say, well, why don't you just run it out coming down the back straightaway or something, that way you finish. Even if you run out on the back straightaway, these things run out of fuel and lose speed quickly. I don't know if you'd be able to make it around one more lap or even half a lap to get across the finish line. You might stall on the track, and that could be a dangerous situation for many. So the NSDCA asks that drivers, if they're not going to be able to make it on fuel, they like them to come down pit road. That's why you saw the mass migration last season in the Cup race. Jose Perez, though, starting to pull away from Matthew Eves in the 35. We got 6 laps to go, so still about 6 minutes left of racing. It's about a minute a lap here. A little under a minute a lap, of course, but basically 6 more minutes for Matthew Eves to try to do something. We also got a possibility. What if we end up with a green, white, checkered finish? Who would come pit? If you pit coming to that, you might be the only one making it back around. Remember, though, the NSDCA did say they will try for the quickie yellows to get green, white, checkered racing as fast as possible. That is because of that Cup race last season where everyone ran out of fuel. They want to make sure, you know, clean the track up as fast as possible, get out racing so these guys don't end up running themselves out of fuel. Battle for second starting to heat up. Alex Peters getting to the inside of Eve, so it looks like that 48 truck starting to fade as this race progresses. Now falls back to third. I think outside of the pit cycle, this is the farthest back he's been all race long, as he's actually been passed by 2 drivers. We'll see if Alex Peters can catch up. Jose Perez, though, trying to win this race. GDI has not won a race, again, since Jose Perez, all the way back in the Crown Royal Truck Series 2 years ago at Las Vegas. It's been over 2 years for Perez, been over 2 years for GDI, and look right there at the edge of your screen, Mike Cook. Slow, 55.0 to a 54.2. They're making it 8-10. Eli Bright, what happened? I just saw he was 1 lap down. Flat tire on the 8. They have him on pit road. They're working on it, and just as we said, he's been having a great season in trucks. The luck's going to bite him back. And that's heartbreaking, truly heartbreaking for Eli Bright, who has been having an up and down season. And now it's just looking to be down. Battle for second, though. His teammate Matthew Eves is fighting hard. You got Antoine, Smith, and Peters back there, but it's all Jose Perez out in front. And if this race continues on and we finish this one under green, I think this is Perez's race to lose at this point. But we also said last week it was Alex Fletcher's race to lose, and the fuel ran out on everyone. So these guys should be all right on fuel. The thing I'm worried about for Jose is the 81 truck that's currently pacing 8/10 slower than the field in that 81 truck. Just ahead, that being Mike Cook. But Jose Perez out in front. Eves, Smith, and Peters, your top 4. Daniel Cobbs hanging on, is now Gatlin down. He's making a move for the 6th position. I think he gained 2 spots since we've been watching. And Eli Bright's still on pit road, heartbreaking there. But that's 5th through 8th. Butcher up to 9th. Monaco's taken 10th away. You see the rest of the field fighting. There's Aiden Smith back there. Zach Rogers. William Duncan's still working his way through. He's picked up a couple more spots in this race, but we're down now 4 laps to go at the Tricky Triangle. We're going to have to watch those intervals up on the top 2. 1.22 between them. All Eves has to do is gain about 2 to 3 tenths a lap, which that can be a lot, but these trucks are slick. They're hard to drive. You can't nail the same lap after lap in the NSDCA. It's just too tricky to do with the tire wear, the handling. You know, it's so hard to drive these cars, and these guys drive them so well. So you could easily gain 3 tenths a lap on guys in front of you, especially if they, one, don't have draft, because now you see Eves has already caught back up. He's in the draft of the 35, and those guys behind him, Smith and Alex Peters, are now single file with him, so that's helping the draft a ton. But you also have Mike Cook that's going to be slower. Perez is going to catch him. Coming across the line there. We're going to take a look at the intervals here. Gained 5 tenths. He's back in the draft, and he's going to catch him, but Cook 55.4, 54.2, so Cook 1.2 seconds now slower than the race leaders there. Antoine Smith is right on the back of Eves, so he helped him catch up, but he wants to win this race himself because he wants to get himself into the chase. He knows even still anything can happen. He knows the heartache of driving in the truck series, and he knows that if he gets a second win, that could easily lock him into the chase. But now Eves is catching Perez quickly as they're catching Mike Cook quickly, and we'll see if Perez can catch and pass him maybe on the straightaway instead, as there you see Cook going through the corner in the 81, Perez in the 35. We'll see if he catches the draft and can sling around him, because if he doesn't and is caught into turn number 1, that could be big. Now, as Antoine Smith is falling back, doesn't give Eves a great push down the straightaways, and now Eves has lost some time, but Perez is not going to catch Cook before turn 1. This could be big. Cook moves out of the way. What a move by Mike Cook to just go up and out of there to get out of the race leader's way. And that is a veteran move from a guy who, you know, his career hasn't been the best, but that is very nice to see him. He knows the truck is ailing. He knows it's slow, moves right out of the way of the leader. But now how will we fare with Matthew Eves, Antoine Smith catching up to him? He's going to park it right in front of him, but he's going to take that line and go up, and came down a little bit, but Eves is going to get by him. But we're coming to the white flag here. If we see the white in the air, the race will be over the next time by. You race back to the line even if there is a caution. So as long as we don't see a yellow flag, as long as it's a white flag in the air, and that's what we're seeing. Jose Perez is 1 lap away from finally getting GDI back into victory lane. Antoine Smith all over the back of Matthew Eves. Alex Peters back there in 4th. He just has 2 more corners to go after this one. Just keep it going. You have a nice advantage, about a second ahead, as long as you don't screw up. Logan Cloud's not going to be a factor. You saw him at the bottom of the screen there. And Jose Perez down the back straightaway here at Pocono for the final time into the tunnel turn. It has been years since he's been to victory lane, years since GDI has had anything really to cheer about. And after last year, we didn't know if he'd even come back racing after breaking his leg in a crash at Kentucky in the Sundrop Cup Series. Last season, he had a chance to fight for a championship, and this year is going to be no different. Coming out of turn number 3, Jose Perez for Gatlin Downey Incorporated is going to win at Pocono. GDI goes back to victory lane for the first time in 2 years. Rest of the field cycling on by. You got Hagan fighting Aiden Smith coming to the line. We'll go ahead, take back up to the front because Jose Perez upsets Matthew Eves, who led a race-high 23 laps. Perez leads 13 en route to winning this race. Antoine Smith with a lap lead himself, but what a drive by Jose Perez, the Wendy's 35. That is a major bag alert for the 35 team. They just captured it here at Pocono. What a drive. Jose Perez gets to take it home and get the victory. Now, we said this invert would be crazy. The 8 and 81 will start last as Logan Cloud and Nelson Reeves for CFRO and Impala will start on the front row of tomorrow's event, the Reese's 300. Jose Perez, Matthew Eves, Antoine Smith, they will be starting 38, 37, 36th. So I think tomorrow's Reese's 300 might even be more exciting than this one and possibly have some crazy moves, as these guys are going to have to move from the back of the field all the way up to the front. That is going to be an exciting, exciting event. Jose Perez got around Eves right after pit stops and right before the other leaders of Cloud and Reeves came down pit road. So Perez got the move done and took it to victory lane, making the 7th different winner in the first 7 races of the Truck Series season. Some great finishes, though. Aiden Smith and William Duncan worked from the back to the front. Smith started this race 33rd, Duncan 39th after failing post-qualifying inspection. They end up 14th and 17th. Hagan comes home top 15. Brandon Morris 18th for Shepard. Zach Rogers, Priya McShane, top 20s there. Vargas from the back, he came up to 22nd. Heartbreaking for Eli Bright. Flat tire kills him. I think he had to be taken back around to his pit box, and they had a major repair to do to that 8 team. He'll end up with a 40th place finish. You also got, though, Stephen Wallace Jr., Gatlin Downey, top 10 runs. Riley Spurley to Brian Butcher. Eves is going to be the points leader coming out of this. I'm pretty sure of that in that 48 truck, as he finished pretty far ahead of William Duncan. But Perez now could have just shot his way into a battle for the regular season title in that 35 truck. Most of the top 10 are all your championship contenders. All of them entered this race inside the top 15 in points, except Gatlin Downey, who was 16th, but should be up there after this. So I think that's showing who our championship contenders will be, because top 13, even still, with Fletcher, Onjak, and Monaco getting top 15 runs. You also got Aiden Smith and Larry Hagan. Hagan, 15th in points, Smith 21st in points, so he's trying to get a late season charge. So you're seeing some of the strongest trucks in the grid up front after this long race. And I have to say, this was a pretty nice change of pace in comparison to a lot of the other Truck Series races of the past, the Sundrop Cup Series races this season. 40 laps of green flag action. It hurt Logan Bradley. He got turned off the bat through turn 2, and pretty much spread the whole field out. We stayed clean. Everyone stayed clean, gave each other room, and brought all the trucks home in one piece for tomorrow's race, the Reese's 300. A great race here with a amazing historical invert with CFRO and Impala leading us down for tomorrow's event. Jose Perez takes home the victory over Matthew Eves in a close finish at the end, but Eves just did not have enough in the draft, in the tank at the end of that, to be able to go back up and chase down Jose Perez. Will Jose win tomorrow, or will we see our 8th different winner? We'll have to wait and see if you tune in tomorrow to the Crown Royal Truck Series. Great race was had at Pocono. Doubleheader here and a cup race still left at the Pocono weekend. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time on the NSDCA.